You got a 3-hour drive after this quick meeting.
What meeting?
I need a roadie. You ladies are, how should I put this? A lot to handle. I could use some help.
Can we eat him?
No, you think I like cleaning up after all of you alone? Don't tell me you're the fucking guy.
Yes, sir. So, what is the gig?
Roadie work. Tour with the girls, carry their shit, and if you're lucky enough, tune a guitar once in a while.
If it ain't fucking Jerry and his, bitches.
He wanted to meet the band.
If you keep eating all of our fans, who's gonna come to our shows? Jerry, some woman walking down the middle of the road covered in blood, that is problem.
No!
Jerry, no!
Dude, she doesn't have a fucking tongue.
Get out of the fucking van!
I've never seen anything like this before. And I've been alive for 900 years.
It's a cult that serves one purpose. To feed the one you call Cain.
It's all good. Dead chicks, morgues. I'm rolling with it.
You're gonna get a paycheck.
Stop the threat in the South Tower!
Making noise out there in the dark.
You're all just me!
Sex too many times. Girl saying.
Yo, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to a very special review. That's right. So I had the pleasure of watching this recent horror film. I had the pleasure of viewing this like a private screening at like a festival a few weeks back, and it really blew me mind. But I also have a friend here, Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio, that also got a special opportunity of seeing this latest horror film. And just like me, my friend, you were blown away by Devour.
I was, in fact, Devour.
Yes, Devour. You know, this film blew me absolutely away for a number of reasons, and we're going to talk a bit about it. So first and foremost, can you remember when you first heard about Devour and like when you got your first kind of, you know, notice about this particular film?
Yeah, it was probably about 2023 or 24. At the time, it was being crowdfunded and through Indigo, and it was under the title "The Virginia Bitches," which is the name of the band, the all-girl heavy metal band. And at the time, it had a different lead for the lead vocalist. At the time, was Alyssa White Gluez, from formerly of Arch Enemy, now of Dragon Force. But that fell through, and so they put in Heidi Shepard from Butcher Babies to fill in for the role, which she did an amazing job. Great singer, great person. So at that time, like, it was just still kind of its in infancy in terms of being crowdfunded and worked on. Of course, Scott Hansen, the director, and his wife Desiree, she's the writer of the film. So, they were putting it together through the year. And I kind of forgot about it because, it takes time sometimes to get these things off the ground and get a budget for them and stuff like that. So when it finally came back and I started seeing stills that were being put up of the werewolf design, I was like, oh, and then I saw it was like under Devour. So at the time, I didn't realize it was the same film. I thought, okay, so Devour. So I started researching, and then sure enough, found out that it was actually the film I've been following since day one. So, I've been, anticipating this film for a long time, and it was not a disappointment at all.
Very true. So this is Devour, everybody watching. This is, I'm not going to say low budget because I hate that word. Because low budget to me means a film that is like you and your friends went into your back garden. You've taken a couple of, pop cans and you've made a UFO movie. For me, that's
low budget's like Blair Witch.
Yeah. This is not low budget. This for me is medium budget, where, like you've mentioned, it was crowdfunded. It was directed by Scott Hansen. It was written by his wife, Desiree Hansen. And I have to be honest, I seen the trailer for this particular movie over a year ago. It might have been a year before, I'm not sure. Because I think this was originally meant to come out in 2025. But it's now been pushed forward to 2026. And I remember seeing this trailer and I thought to myself, this looks batshit crazy. Yeah. And I even did a trailer reaction, and Scott Hansen commented on my trailer reaction, went, hell yeah, thanks for liking my movie. And I was like, when this comes out, I cannot wait to check this out. And so a few weeks ago, I went to like an independent movie festival thing, and somebody had it and showed it to fans around that time. And honestly, sitting there watching this movie at the beginning, I thought this is like a slow burn movie. It started off slow, but it did grab me attention. By the end of the credits, I was like, holy shit. What have I just witnessed? It was like a mixture of everything I love in terms of films, especially horror and action.
Yeah, he throws everything in the kitchen sink in here. You think at first it's just, and it is, this film kind of starts off where it's just following the band from gig to gig, and it isn't as quite as action packed at that point as you would think it might be. But then once stuff starts unraveling, it gets really crazy really fast.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. So directed by Scott B. Hansen, written by Desiree Hansen, his beloved wife. It shows Andrew Pearson, Josh Totash, Kaylin
Newberry.
It skipped a bit. Caitlin E. Newberry, Kobe Connell, J. Given Wild, John Wells, Guy Messenger, Corey DeAnne Cowley, Kaylee Geralt, and Jacob Lynn, and so many more. Oh, also Ashley Aberlin.
Yeah, so you have Ashley Aberlin in here. You have Chelsea Lesage and Heidi Shepard, of course. And of course, I'm probably looking at the same thing you are. They got Gus Langley, who plays Jerry, all the way near the bottom. Like, dude, he's like one of the focal points and favorite parts of the film. So, yes. There is a lot of people in this, and there's just a really good acting going on in here.
Yeah. So this film really, for me, this is like a Halloween treat. I'm not gonna lie. Scott Hansen, when you get the opportunity to release this out on physical media, I'm gonna buy this. this is going to be an annual watch every Christmas. It's not Christmas, Halloween. Actually, it could be a fucking annual watch at Christmas. Who gives a shit? I could watch this any time of year, to be fair. It's that damn good. So let's get cracking and talk about the plot. So it starts off where there's like this, intro of the lead character who is like, it's Jerry. Is it? Yes, it is Jerry. Who's like, who he's like the, it's like the patriotic war back in the time in America, and he's a proud soldier, and you see him fighting basically in that war. And he's fighting on the American side, and there's like so much turbulation going on, and then he basically gets hunted down by these other soldiers, and it's either die by the soldiers or basically go off the cliffside down the waterfall. So he basically sacrifices and jumps off the waterfall, and you hear his monologue where he's basically talking about how he was born back in this century, and all this stuff going on, and then it suddenly springs forward, and next thing you know, he's in this van with these beautiful, gorgeous women, and he's now like, I wouldn't say he's the roadie, but he's like the band manager, I'm going to say, of this rock band centuries later called the Virginia Britches. And the lead singer, I have to say,
good old Heidi.
She is absolutely stunning. Like she's gorgeous in this.
She got some pipes on her too.
I'm sure she does. I haven't really listened to her music, I'm going to be completely honest, but this film, though, I thought she was a standout. I know, people who eventually watch this movie will probably like, well, really, which is kind of like right from the beginning, she's like the lead female actress in the film, and for me, she really stands out for all the right reasons. She's tough, she's confident, and you suddenly find out why she is the way she is. But you're introduced to the other members of the band, and then Jerry, who's now a century old. You then suddenly realise when they go into this bar, it was either before a gig or after a gig. The youngest member, I'm going to say the youngest member of the band, they walk into the toilet and she's basically feeding on one of the fans from the band. And then you suddenly realise Jerry's a vampire. That's how he survived all these years later. And all of the other members of the band, the Virginia Bitches, are also now female vampires. Yep. It's not quite clear if he was the sire of these women, or if it was
I'm sure, I think he was. Now, I know with Morgan he was, because obviously he had found her in a car wreck, and that's why later on she has a hard time dealing with like the crash between the van and the car. She's like, it brought back a memory she didn't like. And I think he was supposed to protect Kate, who's the singer, centuries ago, from like being killed, or when she tried to hang herself or something. I think he bit her then, but she had like a bloodline that goes back to, which we find out to be Lilith, and that's a whole different thing there with that. But as far as Joe, I'm not really sure. I'm assuming either one of the girls did it or he did it, but I'm certainly he did it for Morgan and Kate.
But so it's now established these are female vampires. He's like their band manager, and the Virginia Bitches band to basically keep undercover from being discovered of being these vampires. They travel from town to town, performing in different like heavy metal bars and clubs, performing, and then they make the money, they might feed a little bit, then they basically escape and go to the next town, the next city. But Jerry, he's like he's like 900-year-old by this point. He's a bit tired, he's tired. So he decides, I need a bit of help to handle these ladies because some of them are a bit rebellious. So in that case, he decides to go forward and find like a roadie.
Boring Jerry. And boring Jerry,
that's right. They find this guy called Jerry, and he's literally he's like, how do you describe him? He's kind of this kid who basically, he's stuck in his little town. He's got dreams and ambitions of a bigger life or whatever, away from the town. But he's also very, very, how do you describe it?
nerdy.
He's like not the smartest kid in the room.
Dylan.
And he's like,
nothing about smarts. He's very novice. He hasn't really had life experience. So
yeah, he's like a novice. He's very naive at the world, and he's had 2 jobs before this job. And then obviously his interview's like midnight in this down out cafe in the middle of his town, and Jerry approached him like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But then at the end of the day, because I'm assuming Dylan's the only one that's applied to the advertisement, he's like, shit, go on, let's give this kid a go. See if he's any good. And then obviously as the plot progresses, we're introduced to like another lady who is like in the morgue.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking for this is the only thing, I don't know about you, Anubis, but this bit puzzled me because she's obviously, I didn't feel like she worked in the morgue. So there's been dead bodies, there's been events, transport accidents or whatever around. So they break into the morgue to feed and to steal blood because they're vampires. It's another way how they hide their identities and hide what they do by going to town. And then suddenly she's in the morgue and she's like, where's my friend? What he's doing here? And then they just assault her and convert her into a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they decide that, because they were just going to feed on her, but Joe said, well, we need a 4th. We need a bassist. So it doesn't matter if you can play. We just need a bassist.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that puzzled me. She just turned up at the morgue when they were stealing blood and feeding.
Yeah, so that is kind of like one area of a little of a foobar, I guess, because obviously the band goes there because they get these blood packs, which enables them to have blood, but not really leaving a lot of bodies behind, except for Morgan, who just can't seem to help herself. But we don't ever really get any clue like what happened to the person that was running the morgue, who's friends with the new girl that they had. So I don't know exactly what happened to her, but there's like something happened where there's like blood on the tray and stuff. So we have no idea because the girls didn't do it to her. So somebody else did, but we just don't know who. But kind of irrelevant at this point.
It is irrelevant, but it does bring me back to a question though later on. So obviously she joins the band, they then bury her, she then transforms into a vampire. You've got Dylan who's like, ooh, she's a vampire. And, and then shit goes down where they go down this long road, and then as they go down the road, they find a woman with like basically covered in blood lying on the road, missing her tongue. She's had her tongue cut out. Jerry, generally, because he's a vampire, generally should be like, who gives a shit? Let's just keep going forward. But he takes the sympathy with this woman and saves her. And as they get saved, these police vans turn up, but they're not policemen.
Yeah, definitely not policemen.
Yeah. Do you want to carry on this plot?
Yeah, so they get pulled over, and Jerry's kind of like, let's just chill, be cool. And of course, Jerry isn't really forward thinking in this manner, because even if it was a real cop, they don't have any registration for the van they're in. But it's irrelevant because the cop that's supposedly a cop is a guy named Druid, played by Jacob Lynn. And he goes way back to the Civil War when Jerry was back then as well. So we start to find out that there aren't just vampires in the world. There's also sirens. And Druid is a siren who can scream and basically make you bleed from the eyes and shit. Although it doesn't seem to affect Dylan as a human, so it seems to only affect like vampires or supernatural creatures. But yeah, so they of course the Druid tries to get them to get out of the van, but then eventually they just haul ass out of there, get chased, and then of course we find out that Kate, because of her lineage of the vampire that she is, she has like a little bit extra special powers, and she can kind of glow.
She's like a hybrid, isn't she? She's like a vampire slash, I'm going to say like a demigod type.
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, that's fair. She is a descendant of Lilith. Lilith is definitely a demon god of sorts. So
yes. So as you can imagine, when you're watching, you just think it's going to be like something like Fright Night or Lost Boys when the film starts, where you meet these kind of cool, heavy metal band vampire chicks and the manager, and then it goes in a completely different direction. You're now introduced to these sirens. Their shit goes off the map, and then it even goes even further off the map. Because then you discover what the sirens are. They're now like a cult who worship this being who is like a warlock who fell from space.
Yeah.
He's like an alien being who fell from space, who's like a warlock. And their whole thing is to bring sacrifices to him to feed him, to make him grow his energy so he can once again be reborn on Earth. And this poor vampire rock band, who also happen to be vampires, are pulled into the mix. And all I'm going to say, this is just the first half of this movie, and then it gets even more batshit fucking crazy. But in the most positive, heavy metal, rock star way possible. That's the only way I can describe it. And like I say, I seen this as like a screener at like this little independent film event I went to. So I don't have many photos to show, but what I can tell you is this film does not give up. Once you get past the opening punch of this movie, introducing you to Jerry, the band, the sirens, this woman who's now lost her tongue, and then you're introduced to like this city. What was the name of the city again, Anubis?
Crimson City.
So you then go from basically, how I'm going to describe it, the normal world that we all, reside in, to this Crimson City, which obviously is a fictional city. Once you go through the gates of Crimson City, it's like being in Outworld of Mortal Kombat. It's like being in Raccoon City.
Yeah, exactly. It's either like kind of Resident Evil or Gotham City. It's got its own world built within there.
So it's like, once you go through them hidden gates, you go from like say like a Chicago town setting into like this Raccoon City from Resident Evil / Outworld from Mortal Kombat. There's like this church on this cliffside, and then all the buildings, and there's like they're all heavily like fortified, and it's like weird setting. And then you find that at the same time as they're brought into they enter this city, you find out like there's this like hidden like kind of tournament where people are captured and are fighting like each other, or they're set against different beasts or creatures. And of course, Kate, who you mentioned, is captured. And because she's like the head vampire, but she plays a very heavy point in the second half of this film. And there's a part with her that really shocked me. And once it happened with her, you're like, there's no going back and say anybody or anything is up for grabs.
Yeah. And
nobody is safe in this film. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the same time as all that is going on, because like I say, it does get batshit crazy. You are introduced to this character who's called R.I.P., who's basically the Punisher meets a vampire hunter, a monster hunter, who's basically, you don't find much out about him. You just know he's on a mission and he's looking for Kate. He's looking for the vampires, and it turns out he's a descendant of Van Helsing.
Yep.
So that adds an extra element to this amazing plot. And on top of that, as Kate's been captured, the sirens have kind of captured elements of the band or people of the band. They then get segregated where some of them are captured in Crimson City. There's one or two who are on the outskirts of Crimson City. This is where they enter like the dungeon area, the cell area, and they find a mysterious woman called May, who I just have a funny feeling, Anubis, she's going to be your favourite character throughout the rest of this movie.
Yeah, she would
I don't
be.
know why.
Smells like dog hair.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk a bit about this point in the movie?
Yeah. So again, we get into Crimson City, and again, more weird stuff happens. We've got cults, we've got a warlock reborn, we've got vampires, we've got sirens in the city at this big ass hospital, which kind of like, I don't know if it's inspiration for Scott or not, but there's a shot of the hospital on the cliff. So it reminds me a little bit of House on Haunted Hill a bit. And once you get inside, the nurses and the doctors have like wide eyes. It's like they almost look like zombies or something that's going on in there. So that's a new twist. And then of course they end up, between Marie and Joe and Jerry, because they end up finding each other down there. They go and they end up finding this girl May, and they see these big ass claw marks on the walls and stuff, and she's got this collar on that's like from Running Man. If you get without a certain radius, your head's just gonna blow off, right? So, but
which was a nice tribute. You could see where the influence of that come from.
Yeah, and so Jerry, they're all asking May, like, "Are you human?" She's like, "Yeah, I think so." But she's incredibly strong because she was holding Marie up against the wall just easily, with a lot of power.
Yeah.
So
she's incredibly human, but she's also incredibly hungry.
Yeah, which is fun. She ends up eating a bunch of sweets before she gets crazy. But so as you mentioned earlier, because this movie kind of goes off the rails, like no one is off limits to being here by the end of the film. So I won't give too much away in that because it still hasn't been out yet. But obviously the favorite part for me, and I think for you, is when May reveals herself. And she's in the middle of this like bar or something. And there's like a bunch of patrons in there. And of course, Jerry and the other girls are there. And this is just, again, hats off to Scott, the production team, the special effects people, like the tribute that they did with the werewolf change from like a little bit of American Wolf and Company of Wolves. I really like that they took some inspirations from that. And it was really good because it was a nice mixture of practical effects along with like CGI. And so, but the thing is makes this whole part of this crazy is that you literally spend at least 5 to 10 minutes watching this werewolf just destroy people left and right.
Yeah,
just
so
no problem.
Sorry for those. I'm going to end up putting spoilers on this review, but basically, as Anubis has said, it is revealed May just transform into a werewolf at some point. And I'm going to give Scott Hansen the credit he deserves, because I swear to God, I think this is probably one of the longest, most action-packed, goriest, brutalist werewolf transformations It was beautifully well done. You could see the inspiration from previous werewolf films, but he also made it fun, exciting, and delivered. I don't know if a lot of people like it because I think those who love werewolves are just like Carnage and Gore will love it. But there might be some people that go, right, once Mia transforms and the carnage begins, you think it's finished, but then there's another person going through a window. There's another person getting their head ripped off. Then you think, all right, it's finally done. Then there's another person going through a window. Then she runs through another room. Then there's another person getting torn in two. So a lot of people might think it goes on too long. Where me, I couldn't give a flying fuck, to be honest. Because we don't get films like this that often. And it's nice to see a director, quite frankly, just have fucking fun and let his hair go and go, I'm having a blast. This is my movie. You like it or you don't. This is for a certain type of horror fan. This is for a certain type of movie fan. This is for the audience that like this kind of shit, and I'm making it for them. And most importantly, I'm making it for me.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
We found that kind of out early in the film when the warlock was reborn, when I was waiting for you guys' reaction to a certain scene, because I knew that was going to shock people. And so I just liked that Scott wasn't afraid to go there. Like, you know, he was just going to have fun with this. And it really is just a fun film. Like, but if you're somebody that's more into the more intellectual or, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretentious.
I would say serious horror film. So for me, when it comes to Devour, this is not a film that is meant to be intellectual. It's not a film that's meant to be one of them horror psychological films that makes you think. It's basically a downright fun, gory.
Just have
Turn
fun.
your brain off for an hour, 2 hours, have fun with it, enjoy the gore, enjoy the comedy, enjoy the action, and that's what you get. For me, this is a mixture of Evil Dead meets Universal Monsters meets Terrifier. Now, if you look at Terrifier, that was like, I hate the word low budget, a medium budget film that started off with the director. He had a vision, he had a dream, he had an idea, he brought it to screen. Everyone, there was like half the audience that seen it loved it. The other half thought it was disgusting. But it's because half the audience loved it, it got a lot of their publicity, it got a lot of word of mouth. Because half the audience hated it, it got a lot of publicity, it got a lot of word of mouth. And what did that do? It drove people to want to see it. And what happened after that? We now have Terrifier 2. We now have Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping in many ways, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to have people that are going to frown upon this movie, but you're going to have a lot of those people that are going to love this movie. I'm one of those that loved it.
Yeah, and like I said off camera, you know, guys like Chris Jericho, wrestler from WWE, like he's a big horror fan and he loved this film. So like, I like the fact that, you know, so far Devour is getting a lot of praise from the screenings and stuff like that. And so I can't highly recommend it enough for people when this finally gets out in theaters or at least on streaming or whatever, that they go out and check it out. And because I'm like you, once the Blu-ray comes out, I'm all over it. Like I'm not even wasting time.
Oh, I'm going to get this on Blu-ray. No, it's going to be one of my favourite films I'll watch any time of the year. But when it gets to like the darker seasons, Halloween, it's going to be... Because one of my favourite films is Trick or Treat, which, you know, we've covered on your channel. Like it's your birthday special. So this is going to be part of my yearly tradition.
And because Scott also directed another anthology called Bad Candy, which is also very good, you could almost, once this gets released, have like a double feature, which would work perfectly because both films are great. Both films have great soundtracks. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Without spoiling it for the audience, basically as the plot progresses, the werewolves revealed, more secrets are revealed, things get more batshit crazy. Van Helsing gets put deeper into the plot. The other vampire,
We'll just call him Van Punisher.
yeah, Van Punisher, yeah. The other female members of the band end up having to get heavily into rescue people, and basically Crimson City becomes just an apocalypse. The Sirens who worship this coup are a cult that worship this warlock. The warlock is finally, in the most beautiful way, is released. And once he's introduced, the warlock's introduced, the werewolves introduced, the vampires then have to figure out how to solve this massive problem. Werewolf mayhem, vampire mayhem, warlock mayhem. And in between it all, you've got Dylan.
There's Dylan.
Yes. So basically, I don't want to spoil the movie because, like we say, it isn't out yet. I had the opportunity to get this film screened for me, and to the person that showcased this movie, thank you very much. It was a pleasant watch. I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. But going forward, I just want to highlight like independent cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I also wanted to do this review. Not long ago, earlier this year, I had the pleasure of interviewing Lewis Sander, who plays Ticker in the Blood and Honey films. And he's just filmed wrapping Blood and Honey, Winnie the Pooh, Part 3. Now, I don't know if you've seen Anubis, some of the stills from that film. It looks absolutely batshit crazy. Now,
yeah, right now, I've been, because, Mr. Tony and I had done this on a Ghouls of Midnight series. We did the other films in the franchise, and it's been fun. Like, they did a really good job with those other films. So I'm looking forward to the new one. And your interview with Sanders was amazing. Like, it was just a really good interview.
Yeah. So the reason I brought that up is because I want to give independent films and independent cinema the much love the respect it deserves. Like, the first movie, Blood and Honey, wasn't that great. The director did what he did, but he did it because he had a vision. And because he had that vision, and because he did so well with the first one, it was well received by horror fans and cult followers of independent cinema. They were able to do the second one. Since the second one, which was a much bigger budget and did so well, and Ticker was a part of it, basically, the first film was like a prototype. The second film was really the film he wanted to make in the first place. And Lewis Sander just happened to be a part of it. And now we're getting the third one. Then he did Bambi Reckoning. Then he did Peter Pan Nightmares. Oh, sorry, Neverland Nightmares. Sorry, that was the title. We've got Pinocchio Unstringed. Then we're going to get the third chapter of the Twisted Childhood Universe, it's called. So the fact that he started off so little and had a dream and a vision, and then it's caught on and people are enjoying it, he's now building a world. It just shows you having a vision, having, an idea, and really putting your 100% into it, it can turn into great things. And when I look at Devour, because we both seen the film, we know how it ends. I'm hoping Scott Hansen and Desiree Hansen, if this does as well as I would like it to do, it'll be the same as what the creator and the director of the Pooniverse, aka the Twisted Childhood universe, has done. And they can turn this into a similar situation where they can expand it into a fully fledged universe.
Well, I know that talking with Scott behind the scenes, he's told me that he is going to be working with, or at least hoping to work with, Alyssa going forward in another film. So, and I told you last time when we talked about this film that because I love the werewolf so much, I told him he needs to bring that werewolf back, like that design and everything. And because we obviously in this film, there's no conclusion to the werewolf, so that's something that's totally open to be down the road as well. So, yeah, so he's got plans from what I understand. So I'm really happy about that.
And he has just like like a behind the scenes image.
Oh, it's just so great.
So for those that are looking, this is the werewolf. It's fully, practical. It's on stilts. It's huge. It's grand. It's gorgeous. It's vicious. It's nasty. It's gnarly. It's everything you would want out of a werewolf. And how they use the werewolf in this movie. Let's face it, the werewolf was the star.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who you are and when you're watching this film. But as I've said before, I'm a big werewolf guy, as you can see. But I really appreciate that the werewolf had its time to shine. And it's like, sometimes even with some of the classic films, you see the bits of the werewolf, but they're always quick and they're not super long. This one doesn't. He treats it like, I forget who it was. It might have been Anthony or somebody. It would tell me is like, watching this is like, this werewolf was tougher than the Hulk. The way that it was going around throwing people left and right. So. That's kind of like how I look at it. And, again, we don't have to worry about the werewolf being hidden in shadows. It's just all right there. It's running, it's chasing, it's destroying people. Like, it's fun. It's a fun thing to watch, and you get a lot of it.
Like I'm a vampire guy, as you know. You love your werewolves. I love my vampires. There's not much vampire action in this when it comes to the vampires. Technically, I would say the last quarter of the movie, the warlock, there is a bit of a transformation there, and the warlock is kind of a hybrid with a vampire, I'm going to say. And that,
I immediately thought of Underworld when I saw that. So,
well, I was thinking what's it called? The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, that too.
It had a similar like. How the vampire is in that, the way that this vampire or the warlock is executed give me the vibes of that. And then, of course, the last 15 minutes of this film, without spoiling the movie, there's a reveal which leaves it open for a sequel. And I was like, oh shit, yes. I was like, oh yes. We're going there. I'm like, this movie better do damn good so I get my sequel. Because if there is a sequel, it's go time, bitches. Because the vampires are going to be at the forefront of the sequel. That's all I'm going to say. Because I was like, yeah. Was a nice little twist there, what they did with the vampires at the end of this film. But all I'm going to say is, hell yes. Just like Terrifier started off as an independent film and became a cult classic, just like the Twisted Childers universe is fully going ahead of steam with its success, I really would like Devour to have the same kind of success. And the way it's being talked about, the way it's getting publicized, people who have seen it, you've got a lot of, people who love these cult type films or independent horror films are all gagging at the mouth for it and waiting for it to get its release, including me. I'm in the UK. Like I say, I got to see this at a special screening. If I got to see this in theatres in the UK and I found out it was coming back to my local theatre, I'll be first in the queue to see it again. It's that damn good. So we can't really talk much more about it because it's not officially being released, and we don't want to spoil it. We don't want to give much more. We will give you like, sorry, I will put spoilers on this review. But Anubis, your overall thoughts and ratings of Devour.
Yeah, so overall, if people want to check out my own review, it's on my channel. But overall, just amazing film. It lived up to my expectations from day one. Again, just Scott and Desiree did an amazing job with how they put it together, both from a directing and production standpoint to the writing. It has its moments of funny moments in there with the band and their banter back and forth. So it's just well placed. And again, they thought it out. It's not like rushed. It is really well laid out. Some of the shots in there are amazing. One thing I was telling Scott about the overhead shot of the van reminds me a little bit of Panos Cosmatos, his cinematography that he does for like Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy. So I like that Scott actually came at it with a very clear, objective eye on what he wanted to shoot and how he wanted to shoot certain shots. Again, movie is not going to be your psychological one where you have to sit there and figure out the twist. It has twists, but it's not designed to be thought-provoking. It's just in your face, given to you straight, and just have fun with it and just shut your mind off for a couple hours and just enjoy it. So,
yeah.
And I've said this before, I said this in my review. I think I only have about like 5 or 6 films on my best of list right now. And right now, this is one of the best of the year for me. So, and a 10 out of 10. 10. It's a 10.
For me, I had heard about this film, like I say, at some point last year. I seen the trailer. I did my reaction. Scott Hansen reacted to my trailer reaction. I was like, this is batshit crazy. When's it coming out? I need to see it. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. And then I finally, like I say, had the pleasure of seeing it. And I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed. The cinematography for me is mixed because you can see, like I say, it's medium budget. If you're going into this thinking it's going to be, like a big Hollywood blockbuster, you'll be disappointed. But if you're going into this with the same eyes and views, if you like, the Pooh films, the Twisted Childhood films, or the Terrifier films, and they're your kind of movie, and they're your kind, the gore, the grittiness of those, but at the same time he puts in some fantastic cinematography, like the shots that you've mentioned. What blew me away is that I'm gonna say, like the suitmation with the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
The detailing that he put into the suitmation, the detailing on the warlock when he has his transformation, the last half of this movie, which is like a mixture of suitmation and special effects and probably green screen and potentially a bit of AI, which didn't bother me. I just was taken into the story, taken into the characters, just batshit crazy. Also, I would say, I think I mentioned this to somebody else, that I've seen Mortal Kombat 2, and I talked about how there's not much difference there from the first film to the second movie. They just basically made that like a film for the fans. Like they added much more from the games into the film. And, you had green screen there when they were doing the fighting. And that's another thing. If you're a fan of Mortal Kombat 2 or the Mortal Kombat recent new film, you'll probably dig this as well. Because it's got that kind of Mortal Kombat feel. Like, soon as you leave, like, say, like, I would say the normal world, the normal cities, and go into Crimson City, it's like what I said, it's like you're going to Outworld. It's like you're going to this fantasy world full of warlocks, full of vampires, full of werewolves, full of backlit, crazy zombie-like people. And it's just a lot of fun. And it really, going into this, I didn't know how I was going to feel about it when I first got into it, because I thought, I don't know which direction this is going. But by the end of the movie, I absolutely adored it. So with that said, my final score is 9 out of 10. Which I think is a worthy score. The werewolf scenes, like, you know, it's the scene of the film. Let's be honest. I'm a vampire guy, but I will bow to Scott Hansen because what he was able to do with the werewolf in this film was fantastic. But with the twist at the end, if there is a sequel, you better do my boys and girls justice in the sequel with my vampires. That's all I'm going to say. Do not let me down if there is a sequel. But yes, a worthy film. There's still no official release date for this, is there, Anubis?
Not that I know of, but I have to think it's probably going to come out within the next month or two because I thought it was going to come out this month, but you know, I don't know if it's still doing its like festival circuit or whatever, but I guess eventually if Scott sees this, which I'm sure he will, like maybe they can answer when there's actual date on it.
Yeah.
But
I think late September, early October for this, just in time for Halloween season. I think
they might push it then because obviously this does take place around Halloween. So
it just feels like that seasonal film. You know, like this, like I say, this is going to be a seasonal film for me. Like you said, the setting, it's set in like that era, Christmas, Halloween. Autumn.
You're stuck on Christmas for some reason.
I'm fucking stuck on Krampus. That's what I'm thinking of. Because, you know, I'm stuck on the Krampus movie. I don't know why, because I love Krampus.
It's probably the only creature we didn't see in this film.
Yeah, there could be, if there's a sequel, it could end up at fucking Christmas for vampires and Krampus. Who knows? But for whatever reason, just Halloween, that time, late September, early October, feels like the perfect time for this to get a general release or a release on streaming, however they're going to release it. But when it comes out on physical, I'll be the first to buy it.
Yep.
Or if Scott Hansen says this, I want a signed copy. I want a signed poster. I want all the fucking merch. I want all the jewels, all the crystals.
None for the rest of you. All for me.
Yeah. Like, look at this cabinet. It's missing your werewolf statue. Anyway.
Oh, if they make one of that, dude, a figurine of that, that'd be tight. That would
you
be
would
tight.
be pissed if I got it before you, though.
Yes, I would. I'd literally swim my ass over there and take it.
But anyway, like I say, 9 out of 10 for me, 10 out of 10 from Anubis. Fantastic film, great cast. Jerry for me is amazing. I want to fucking interview that guy. I want him on my channel.
He's such fun.
I would love him on my channel. So if you watch this,
I do have to say that I think that Morgan was probably my favorite character in this. Like I thought she was hilarious. She was just so good in this.
Yeah, but I want Jerry on my channel. Jerry, I need you on my channel. But anyway, fantastic, great cinematography, great action. Starts very slow. It's like a slow burn into mayhem. That's the only way I can describe it. But it's fun, glorious mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you know when you see on posters of films, and like it has like they put like people's got critics or they say a word in what people think of the film. Mine would be glorious mayhem. 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 by you underneath.
I call it glorious Goreham.
A heavy metal horror fan's dream.
Yep.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So anyway, my friend, what is coming to the Metal Tavern Radio?
Tomorrow, actually, Nick and I will be doing the top rock and metal albums of May. So we'll be giving my top 6 albums that I've heard this month. And then probably going into next week, I've been kind of delaying it just because I've been lazy, but Gonna finally do my MK2 review for the movie, as well as Operation Hadel from Wellgo USA. So I'll be reviewing that. But I want to watch
Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the reason why I've been dragging my ass on it, because like it's not really very pleasant. It's not terrible, but as you said earlier, it's not really an upgrade either. So, but yeah, I'll get into it next week. But yeah, so that's basically it right now as far as what I've got coming up.
As for me, where the hell are we? We are on Saturday. Yes, Saturday. Is it the 30th of May? Yes, the 30th of May. See, life goes fast. So after today, on the 5th of June, we've got my pick on the cinema, not the cinematic synergy. I know what my pick is for that one, but that's not the show we're doing on the 5th of May. We're doing the Retro Classic Movie Show, which is at 10 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll be covering Abyss 1989. Then after that, the next show we'll be doing, it will be on the 12th. That will be Kronos, part of Kaiju Connections. After that, we will be doing Into the Darkness, the Hatches franchise discussion. And then on the 19th, which is I'm very much looking forward to this, we're going to be doing a special on Steven Spielberg. We're going to be talking about his career, about his movies. I want all my guests who are going to be a part of that to basically pick their top 5 Steven Spielberg films. A lot of people might have the same ones, but it's going to be interesting to see where they place them and what the reasons for why they place them. And of course, the newly released Disclosure Day, which is apparently the best film Steven Spielberg's done in 20 plus years. That is what the early screenings are saying. So
it's high praise.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see after I say that the week before we do our stream, if it'll make me top 5. Who knows? But that's what's coming up on the entertainment headquarters. But Devour, 9 out of 10 for me, 10 out of 10 from Anubis. Thank you, my friend, for joining me.